Hi guys, my name is Blake. Welcome to my channel. We are a few days into June and I wanted to let you guys know what I was planning on reading this month. I was very much in a read-along, readathon kind of mood, and I saw that Hannah Blackwell was doing her Once Upon a Readathon. She was doing like a small summer edition for the month of June. But for this readathon, it is based on mythical creatures and you are on teams. And you can read any book, but if you read a book with your mythical creature or a water setting, you get extra points for your team. And I decided to join the dragons team because I am predominantly a fantasy reader. And I have a couple dragon books that I want to get to, so it seemed like a perfect fit. And I have 5 books that I want to get to in June. June, July, and August are pretty busy months for me at work. So I will probably be consuming most of these via audio. So that would depend on my library's availability for some of these, but these are the ones I'm hoping to get to. And the first one is Last Argument of Kings by Joe Abercrombie, and this is the 3rd book in the First Law series. I am a little ways into this one already. I'm a couple chapters in. I'm really enjoying it so far. I was a little hesitant about going into it because at the end of book 2, I still enjoyed it, but I was a little disappointed because all of the characters were kind of hitting stops on their personal quest. And I was really wondering like what the point of book 2 was, because everything seemed like it was failing. So yeah, I was a little disappointed, but I think I'm starting to see where the plot is coming in this 3rd book. Like I'm starting to see some pieces going together and things are starting to connect. So I am really excited about that. Godkiller by Hannah Kaner. I saw Elliot Brooks talking about this one and she was just gushing about it, and she and I have really similar reading tastes. So anytime she recommends something, I immediately have to go pick it up. And I don't know a ton about what this one is about. I think she's the only person I've heard talk about it. So we are following a god killer, and she finds a god that is bonded to a child. And there's also a disillusioned knight. And they are trying to kill this god, I think. And Elliot said it was very much an adult fantasy, that it was very dark, and I'm really looking forward to that. She had a couple buzzwords in her review that really caught my attention. I love spiteful, meddling, vengeful gods, that type of trope in my stories, and this one is pretty short, so I think I can get to it pretty quickly. I also want to pick up A Day of Fallen Night by Samantha Shannon. This is the prequel to Priory of the Orange Tree, which I have not read. When that book came out, I was initially really excited about it, but when the reviews started coming in, I noticed that it was getting a lot of mixed ratings, and a book that big, being only 3 stars, just doesn't sound like a good time. So I decided to skip it, and I've heard a lot of people say that they enjoyed this one more. So I've decided to revisit this world. I'll try reading this one, and if I like it, I will continue on to Priory. I read the first 20 or 30 pages when the book first came out, but that was a bit ago. I got caught up in my research papers after that, so I had to stop reading it. I am just going to restart it because it does seem very politics heavy. And I don't want to miss any like foreshadowing or anything, so I really want to make sure that I get like the family lines and everything down before I continue. I would also like to continue on with the Memoirs of Lady Trent, and I read the first book a couple years ago and absolutely loved it. So we are following this young woman who is living in like a Victorian era London type setting, and she really wants to be a naturalist, but she's a woman, so she is not allowed to be. And we are following the story of her life from childhood all the way to adulthood. And she is kind of writing this as an older woman. She is kind of giving us the story of her life. It is very much written like a memoir. There are illustrations, lots of dragons. It is a slow book, but I really just loved it. I thought the character was so relatable. I loved how obsessed she was with dragons. And each book is like going to a new continent in this world and going to studying like a different type of dragon. And she gets caught up in all of these political challenges and social challenges. And I love following her story, and I really love her voice and her dialogue as she's sharing things with us as an older woman and kind of poking fun at her younger self at times, which is also really enjoyable. And I put it off reading it for the longest time because I was like, it was so good. It was my favorite read of the year. I was afraid that if I read the other ones, I wouldn't have anything else to read. So I put it off. And then I recently read Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies and really enjoyed it. And it was giving me similar vibes to Lady Trent. So I feel like now I really want to read Lady Trent. I don't know how many of them I'll read. I don't want to like blow through them too quickly and not have any more. So we'll see. And the last series I want to continue on with is the Temeraire books by Naomi Novik. I don't think that the series is called Temeraire, but we are in an alternate history setting during the Napoleonic Wars, except there are dragons. And we're following a naval officer who was a higher ranking officer. He is very like comfortable with his life, but then a dragon egg hatches to him and he is like chosen as the dragon rider, which he does initially not want to be, because it kind of turns his whole life upside down and he's kind of having to restart over in a different branch of the military basically with his dragon. And I enjoyed the first book when I read it, but it was very much like a setup book. It was like a lot of build-up, and there are quite a few books in the series, I believe. So I feel like we haven't really got to the meat of the plot or the story yet, and I am interested in seeing where that goes because I really wanted just a little more. But those are the books that I want to get to this month. Let me know if you are participating in the readathon as well, because I'd love to know, or let me know if you've read any of these. And I'll see you again with another video soon. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.